Kat Dennings grew up in the business, appearing in everything from indie features to sitcoms, and even joining the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But as lucky as that sounds, she's been through plenty of pain and loss, both professionally and personally. Between 2010 and 2017, hackers leaked hundreds of nude celebrity photos. Among the victims of the photo leaks were Jennifer Lawrence, Vanessa Hudgens, Kirsten Dunst, and Kat Dennings, along with many others.
Stop looking at my boob.
To make things even worse, the women weren't supported. Quite the opposite, in fact. The victims were widely slut-shamed, but when another celebrity accidentally leaked his own nude pic, the public had an altogether different response. In September 2020, Chris Evans shared a sweet video of his family playing a game, but when the clip ended, the recording continued, revealing his camera roll. Among the images, sharp-eyed social media users spotted a nude photo, but in Evans' case, instead of being told it was his fault for taking the photo to begin with, his fans laughed along with him.
Whoa. Whoa.
A few days later, Dennings took to X to point out the double standard, writing, "The public respect for Chris Evans' privacy/feelings is wonderful. Wouldn't it be nice if it extended to women when this kind of thing happens?" Dennings has been linked to many of Hollywood's most eligible bachelors, including Matthew Gray Gubler, Tom Hiddleston, and her Two Broke Girls co-star Nick Zano. Then, she and singer Josh Groban made headlines in October 2014 after Beth Bears introduced them and they struck up a romance. Dennings and Groban seemed like a match made in heaven, but they ultimately weren't meant to be. In July 2016, a source told E! News, "They are still friends and care about each other, but it's not the right time for them now as a couple." The source insisted the breakup was mutual, but it seems like there might have been more going on behind the scenes of their relationship than fans were aware of.
If you have recently been dumped, please enter a more challenging goal.
In November 2019, Dennings spoke with the Los Angeles Times about working on the Hulu series Dollface and related her real-life experience to her characters, saying, "I've been through this thing where you're so in love that you forget yourself. I'm guilty of being completely swept up and ignoring everything around me." Given that, at the time of the interview, Dennings' most recent relationship had been with Groban, it's fair to assume that's whom she was referring to. Actor Anton Yelchin was just 27 when he died in a shocking freak accident. After making a name for himself as Pavel Chekhov in 2009's Star Trek, he just wrapped up filming Green Room and Star Trek Beyond when news of his sudden death broke on June 19, 2016. According to the police report, Yelchin got out of his SUV, likely to retrieve his mail, but the vehicle rolled down his steep driveway, pinning him against a gatepost and killing him. Dennings and Yelchin first met when they auditioned for 2007's Charlie Bartlett, and they had chemistry from the start. As she told Indie London, "It just worked. As they played love interests in the film, they became good friends, and their relationship continued once the shoot ended. Dennings and Yelchin were so close that even their mothers bonded with one another." Dennings shared, "Our moms are now best friends, so 3 times a day I get an Anton update, and he gets the same about me. It's really cute." When it was announced that Yelchin had died, Dennings expressed her grief on social media, posting, "Anton Yelchin was one of my best friends. Can't say anything that conveys what this feels like." Since his death, she continues to share photos of her late friend. 2011 was Dennings' year. In addition to making her Marvel debut in Thor, she landed a starring role in CBS's show Two Broke Girls. The sitcom, about 2 waitresses trying to save up enough cash to open their own cupcake shop, ran for 6 seasons, and Dennings earned acclaim for her performance. But despite an initial reception that rivaled Big Bang Theory and How I Met Your Mother, ratings slowly dwindled. With CBS already raking in viewership with their other shows, Two Broke Girls was canceled in 2017. Some thought the sitcom got the axe for a more controversial reason, though. A November 2011 review in The New Yorker read, "There's plenty to dislike about Two Broke Girls, especially the ensemble, which is conceived in terms so racist, it is less offensive than baffling."
Now my outside matches my inside because I've always been an old drag queen trapped inside the body of a young black girl.
And in March 2017, a writer for Medium wrote, "The jokes are sexist, vulgar, racist, and generally offensive." Given that Two Broke Girls ran for as long as it did, however, it clearly found its audience.
Christmas is like herpes. No matter what you do, it's gonna flare up once a year.
After it was announced that the show was ending, Dennings spoke with Yahoo Entertainment about her experience, saying, "This show, and I'm not exaggerating, was pretty much the most formative experience of my entire life. That doesn't mean she wasn't disappointed viewers didn't get to see the characters get their happy endings." Although she often puts on a brave face for the public, Dennings has endured plenty of heartbreak. In a January 2024 Instagram post, Dennings announced that her father had died a few months prior, writing, "Today would be his 95th birthday. Even though I knew he had less time than more, it still didn't prepare me for the reality of the loss and the resulting existential crisis." She went on to share her dad's many accomplishments and gushed with pride over him. Roughly 6 weeks after her father's death, Dennings married her boyfriend of nearly 3 years, Andrew W.K. Although she considered postponing the ceremony in light of her grief, she decided a celebration of love was all the more necessary at that point. The ceremony was intimate, and her mother walked her down the aisle in place of her late dad.